Considered one of the meta weapons early in the game, this weapon has been a staple in Call of Duties featuring the World War II era since its inception, and has even been added to more futuristic games in the series, though not always through multiplayer. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Deathtrap, and like always, I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. Be true, be kind, and stay on your grind. Here's to hoping we can become a better version of ourselves as we close out 2021. We are back again with another Call of Duty Vanguard video, and have just finished the first assault rifle in our journey to completing the Atomic Mastery Camo. Now, sometimes referred to as the MP44 in other Call of Duty games, the STG-44 in this game is one of those weapons that simply is just easy to use for new and returning players alike. With its relatively low recoil and consistent ability to perform well regardless of range, with the right setup of course. It's also one of the few weapons in this game that works relatively decently even in the early weapon level grind. Because of this factor, I can see why it was unlocked right from the start, though I certainly do understand the gripes of a portion of the community that believe the gun is way too powerful for a starter weapon, especially when it gets to be an even better weapon through later attachment unlocks. Personally, it is what it is. I'm just here to level up guns, unlock camos for them, and have fun doing so. But I do think the reason that people like to use it so much is that it's just an all-around good weapon. It's not the best in class in any general category, but it's also not the worst in any category either. It has that happy medium that pretty much makes it a jack of all trades, and I think that's just what the casual player wants. Before we get into the camo challenges, I wanted to make a quick note that Vanguard does have a lot of buggy camo challenges, which includes this STG-44. Obviously myself, I didn't run into these issues, but after looking at the community pages a bit, I have gathered that the bugs for this weapon may have come from it, as well as the also bugged M1 Garand, releasing a little bit early in Warzone. I personally don't play Warzone, so that would make a little bit more sense on why it didn't affect me, but at the time of this video's release in mid-December, the bug has yet to be patched. All I can say is for those affected, I hope a fix comes quickly for you folks. With that out of the way, as far as the weapon level grind goes, it should be relatively smooth sailing, and the pack tactics, surgical, and predatory ambition challenges for getting 400 eliminations, 100 headshots, and 50 multi-kills respectively should be almost trivial. If you find yourself struggling a bit with the headshots for whatever reason, don't feel the need to grind them out quite yet, as there is another camo challenge unlocked at level 65 that requires another 100 headshots with a few specific attachments part of your weapon build. As this was one of the first guns I leveled up quite extensively, I didn't realize this until too late and ended up grinding out the first set before realizing I could have possibly combined the two a bit. I certainly didn't need to actively try to aim higher like I did. Next up, we have the Reptilian category at level 20, which requires you to get 5 kills without dying 30 times. Now this is generally the point in the grind where you probably have unlocked enough attachments to set up multiple classes as you like for various playstyles and maps. If you're someone that varies quite a bit to keep things interesting, this is something I'd highly recommend. For the STG-44, I normally kept about 2 classes, one for core and one for hardcore. My core build revolves around maximizing damage and accuracy while limiting drop-off range, while the hardcore build, I went with more ADS speed and sprint to fire speed to always be in a position to shoot first. To get 5 kills in a row, you're going to need to be comfortable with your weapon, but you will also need to choose modes with combat pacing that complements your weapon and playstyle. Sometimes Blitz Domination Shipment can be a little bit too chaotic, and you will constantly get shot in the back after just 3 or 4 kills. In that case, you may need to switch to a less chaotic pacing, a different playlist that features other maps, or perhaps even both. It may take a little bit of time to find that right combination, but once you do, the 30 Bloodthirsties will progress rather rapidly. The 5th category, Deadeye, challenges you with getting 100 long-range kills. You'll know you got one immediately after getting a kill when the subtext Longshot is displayed near the score you got for the kill. Longshots to me will always be easiest in hardcore. Now normally in core, it simply takes too many shots to kill, especially if the enemy is so far out that the damage drop-off starts to take effect. The good news with the STG though, is that it may not be so bad as long as you put most attachments into improving accuracy and put on a longer barrel. But if you feel even with improved accuracy attachments that you can't control it too well, definitely consider the hardcore playlists. You can throw on the higher damage megs, which make every kill a one-hit kill, at the sacrifice of some ADS speed, or perhaps you go with the 7.62 Gorenko rounds if you're able to consistently get headshots, as it's a one-hit headshot with it only being a 2-hit kill anywhere else. I also don't see this mentioned too much, but I quite frequently like to use the alternate fire mode that some guns have. I haven't tried all weapons yet, but most, if not all of the assault rifles have a semi-automatic single-shot mode which just absolutely works perfect for hardcore in my opinion. If you throw on a 2.5x or 3.5x scope, look out for high traffic areas and maps with long sightlines, you'll have this challenge done in no time. The next two challenge categories, Berserker and Wildcat, which call for you to get 100 close range kills and 250 eliminations with 10 attachments equipped respectively, should once again come quite naturally as you finish up the rest of your challenges. For Berserker, stick to a small maps playlist, with Shipment going to definitely be the best. Though, I'll tell you, I have been finding it a little bit tough to find domination on there lately. A gun build with fast ADS speed and sprint to fire speed would work best here. If you still have that hardcore build I mentioned earlier, you can certainly use it here, or if you're playing core, you can modify that build a bit to include a longer barrel and higher damage mags, which should bring that time to kill down a little bit. And then for Wildcat, just simply make sure you're using 10 attachments that work decently with each other, and you'll breeze right through it. Now we have arrived at the categories that require 3 specific attachments as part of the build, and you're doing a certain kill action with them. At Category 8, Survivalist, we have to get 100 kills while aimed down the sights with the Krosnick 220mm rapid barrel, 7.62 Gorenko 30-round mags, and the VDD-27 precision stock. This shorter barrel, higher fire rate, with faster ADS attachments seem like something that would complement a closer range build quite well, which is why I recommend you for the most part to use the tactics used in the Berserker challenge. Balance in some other attachments that bring down the ADS time and improve accuracy, and you'll have yourself a nice close to mid-range setup. Now, just make sure to keep yourself aimed in, as hip firing won't count for this challenge, like it did for the close range kills one. The Mind Games category, unlocked at level 65, requires you to get 100 headshots with the Krosnick 620mm precision barrel, the .30 Russian short 30-round mags, and the Vital Proficiency equipped. These specific parts increase headshot damage in the critical hit area at the expense of lower overall damage. This critical hit area is quite large too, as hits anywhere in the upper torso also get that full increased headshot damage, making even a core playlist kill a 2-shot kill as long as one of the shots lands in the upper chest. In hardcore, it's a 1-hit kill at the spot and above. If you're still working on challenges from the 1st through 7th categories, I'd highly recommend using your remaining attachments to help reach those objectives at the same time. Otherwise, just throw on your go-to Shipment or Das House build and just simply have at it. Whatever your mode of preference, just simply aim a little higher than you normally would, and this challenge will fly right by. And that brings us to level 70 and our final challenge unlock. It's called Death Artist and calls for you to get 100 kills while moving, while using the .30 Russian short 20-round mags, the Konstanz tactical stock, and the pressure proficiency. This is one of the fastest, if not the fastest, challenges to finish for this weapon, in my opinion, as now you have access to all the high-level attachments, and even though you're limited by 3 of them, you still have the rest of the build to balance it out. These required attachments are all about moving while aiming, killing an enemy or two, reloading, and then repeating that process. I believe moving in any direction works fine, so don't feel as though you need to push forward while shooting, though that probably will keep you a little bit more accurate. If you decide to play hardcore and use anything other than the 620mm barrel, you won't have to reload as quickly, as everything should just be a 1-hit kill. I'd recommend to use a short to medium setup again for this one, and just to keep to a small maps playlist. As far as the rest of my class setups go when using the STG-44, it really doesn't vary from weapon to weapon like it did in the past games. I still run Ghost to keep myself off the radar at perk 1, and then at perk 2 I either use forward intel to have a general idea where enemies are coming from, or piercing vision if they like to hide behind walls. Now perk 3 is the one that probably varied the most. In core, I either used overkill with another primary if I didn't feel like my current STG was suitable for a particular range. Then I would just adjust that second primary accordingly. Or lightweight to move around the map faster, either one. In hardcore though, I used demolition to carry a second piece of lethal equipment just of choice. Then finally, I used the stim to quickly heal just as needed. And that completes the STG-44. If you thought the video was informative, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate it. If you have any tips to add, or ways to make the STG grind a little faster, feel free to add them in the comments below. Once again, if there is anyone still watching that ran into that camo progression bug, I certainly hope a fix comes out for you sooner rather than later. I hope you all take care, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.